I used to haul specialty freight across the Midwest. Not your usual pallets or produce, more like private deliveries. High-ticket items, antiques, family heirlooms. It paid well, but the paperwork was always vague. Pick up here, drop off there. No questions asked. One load in particular stuck with me. I was told to pick up a wooden crate from a gated property in rural Missouri. No house nearby, just a barn and a locked chain-link fence. There was a man waiting. Didn't say a word. Just unlocked the gate, pointed to the crate, and handed me a clipboard. He never broke eye contact. Never spoke. Even after I said thanks. The crate wasn't heavy, but it was sealed tight. No markings. No fragile. No this side up. Just a name written in black marker, Renee. The drop-off location was a small cemetery in Kansas. That's right, a cemetery. Middle of the day, nobody around. I double-checked the address twice before pulling in. There was a freshly dug plot, a tarp covering the dirt. A white folding chair sat next to it. I waited for maybe 15 minutes before a woman pulled up. She looked to be in her late 50s, early 60s, eyes red, face tired. She walked straight to the back of the trailer and said quietly, "Is it here?" I nodded. She didn't ask for ID. Didn't sign anything. Just climbed up, walked straight to the crate, and ran her fingers across the top like she was brushing someone's hair. "Renee was my daughter," she said. "Thank you for bringing her home." I didn't know what to say. Didn't ask what was in the box. Didn't want to. The way she looked at it, you'd think her daughter was sitting right there in front of her. I helped her unload it gently and placed it next to the grave. She sat down in the chair. Didn't cry. Didn't speak. Just sat. I drove off slowly, watching her in the mirror until the trees swallowed her from view. I never took another job from that client again. Not because I was afraid, but because I realized for the first time how heavy silence can be, even when the trailer's empty, even when the road's straight, even when the job is done. I once knew a driver named Reggie. Drove reefer loads out of Chicago, mostly produce, always on a tight schedule. He wasn't flashy, didn't talk much, and didn't mess with CB chatter, kept to himself. But if you caught him at a quiet truck stop with a hot coffee and nowhere to be, he'd talk your ear off, mostly about the past. Reggie had been on the road for over 30 years. He'd seen everything change, paper logs to ELDs, manual to automatic, pay scales, rest stops, diesel prices. He'd roll his eyes at some of it, but never complained. One night we were parked side by side at a tiny lot outside of Tulsa. I was fresh into the industry and stressed over the load I had. Couldn't sleep. Reggie must have heard me pacing outside because he popped open his curtain and asked if I was all right. I told him I was just worried about making my drop on time. He laughed. "You'll get it there. Freight's always waiting. Folks aren't always in a hurry to unload, though." Then he got out, sat on his step, and told me something that stuck. He said, I used to miss birthdays, anniversaries. I'd show up late for everything that mattered. But I always showed up early for freight." There was a long pause after that. Then he added, "I ain't proud of that. But when you're out here, it's easy to let the road be your reason for everything. You miss home so long it stops feeling like home." That hit me hard, because I hadn't been out here long. But I already knew what he meant. Reggie said he had a son. Grown now, doesn't talk to him much. Not angry, just distant. Like too much time had passed to fix anything. He showed me a faded photo taped to the wall of his sleeper. Kid looked about 6. Ball cap, big grin, arms wrapped around Reggie's leg like he didn't want to let go. That was the last time Reggie made it home for his birthday. Said he meant to make it back the next year. Then the year after, but there was always another load. We sat there quiet after that. 2 rigs idling in the dark. Headlights from the highway streaking past like reminders of how fast everything moves out here. When I finally turned in for the night, I couldn't stop thinking about how easy it is to trade moments for miles. How the road gives, but it also takes. And sometimes, you don't realize how much until the cab gets too quiet, and the picture on your dash is 10 years old, and the kid in it doesn't look like that anymore. I picked up a load from a quiet little warehouse outside of Elko, Nevada. Manifest said it was sealed medical equipment. Nothing crazy. The dock guy gave me a weird look when I asked about the weight, like he didn't expect me to question it. Whatever, I was tired. Just wanted to get to Salt Lake. Couple hours into the run, I noticed something off. My trailer was swaying more than usual. Not like wind sway, but like something inside was moving. I pulled over at a rest area, checked the seal. Still intact. Kicked the tires, checked the suspension. Everything looked fine. Still, that gut feeling wouldn't go away. Around 2 a.m., I parked at a truck stop just off I-80 to grab some coffee. I stepped out and that's when I heard it. A low thud from inside the trailer. Then silence. I froze. It wasn't a box falling, it sounded deliberate. Like someone or something was inside and trying not to be heard. Called dispatch. Told them I wanted to break the seal and check. They told me not to. Keep it sealed, keep it moving, they said. But I couldn't. I popped the seal, opened the doors. There was nothing, no movement, just crates. But one of them was open and empty, and next to it were muddy footprints leading out the back. Into the dark. I backed away slowly, locked the doors again, and got back in the cab. Didn't say a word until I hit Salt Lake. Never took another load from that shipper again. I was running a load through northern Montana. Middle of nowhere, no streetlights, no cell signal. A storm had just passed and the sky was clear, but the roads were slick with ice and gravel. Around 3 a.m. I see a guy walking on the shoulder. No flashlight, no jacket, just waving both arms. I slowed down, rolled my window down just a little. He looked desperate, said his car broke down a mile back, said his phone died and he just needed a ride to the next exit. But something felt off. No car lights behind him, no skid marks, nothing. I told him I couldn't help and started to pull away. That's when I saw it. 2 more guys hiding behind the guardrail. One had something in his hand. Looked like a pipe or crowbar. I floored it. Didn't stop until I hit the next gas station 40 miles out. Told the clerk what I saw. She called the sheriff. Turns out I wasn't the first trucker to report that stretch of road. 3 rigs went missing there last winter. Drivers never found. Now I don't stop for anything in the dark. She was working night shift at a diner just off I-44 in Missouri. Name tag said Riley. Voice full of tired kindness. I'd been driving 12 hours straight. Cold coffee and fried eggs were calling my name. We got to talking. Nothing deep at first, just routes, diesel prices, weather. But then she asked why I looked so worn out. I told her about the divorce, the long hauls, the empty apartment I kept coming back to. She didn't judge, just nodded and poured more coffee. Every time I passed through, I made a stop. We never made plans. We didn't have to. She was always there. One night I pulled in and she wasn't. New waitress, no Riley. I asked what happened. She quit a week ago. Said she was chasing something different. I never got her last name. No phone number, nothing. Now every time I pass that exit, I slow down a little, just in case she comes back. I was hauling a reefer trailer out of Laredo. Frozen meat. At least that's what the manifest said. Run was headed up to Denver. Route was clean. Weather was decent. But something about this load felt heavy. I'd hauled meat before. This didn't feel like that. Turns took more effort. Braking felt sluggish. I pulled over at a scale stop outside Amarillo. Weight checked out, legal, but just barely. Still, it was bothering me. So I did what I wasn't supposed to do. I cracked the seal. Inside, nothing but tarps. The boxes weren't even stacked right. And under those tarps, weapons. Not just guns, military grade. Assault rifles, night vision, tactical gear. I slammed the doors shut. Heart pounding. I just stumbled into something way bigger than a freight job. Got back in the cab and sat there. Didn't touch the wheel for 10 minutes. I had 2 options. Keep rolling and pretend I saw nothing, or call it in and risk getting tangled up in a federal mess. I made the call. Used a burner I kept for emergencies. Told him where the trailer was and dipped. Left the truck at a rest stop and took a bus home. Didn't even grab my duffel. 2 days later, the company went silent. Phone numbers dead, website gone. To this day, no one's reached out. And I never told anyone. Until now. I was running a late-night route through West Virginia. 2-lane mountain roads, no lights, no exits, just trees and fog. Had a load of produce headed to a distribution center in Charleston. Wasn't in a rush, so I kept it at 55. It was just past 2:30 a.m. No radio, no cell service, just the sound of tires on wet asphalt. Out of nowhere, I saw a figure on the side of the road. Looked like a young girl. White dress, long black hair. I blinked. She was gone. Chalked it up to lack of sleep. I'd been running doubles all week and my eyes were shot. But then, a few miles later, I saw her again. Same girl, same white dress. Just standing by the tree line. Didn't move, didn't wave. Just stared. My skin went cold. I passed her without slowing down. Checked my mirror. She was still there, watching me. 15 minutes go by. I tell myself it's just my brain messing with me. Then the CB radio, dead silent all night, suddenly crackled. A voice. Faint. Female. You shouldn't have looked back. That was it. Just static after. I pulled over at the next rest area, middle of nowhere. Locked the doors, turned off the lights, tried to sleep in the bunk. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, standing at the edge of the woods. In the morning, I called dispatch. Told them I was cutting the route short. They didn't argue. They said I wasn't the first driver to report something strange on that stretch of road. They even had a name for her. The Mountain Ghost. Now, whenever I run night shifts in Appalachia, I don't stop. I don't blink, and I damn sure never look back.